Chapter 8. Terry Organ. Sam, I know it's late, or early, depending on which way you look at it. Well, I imagine it must be, as I have just woken up. To be honest, I am quite astonished that I have crawled all the way from the bathroom floor to the desk in my conservatory. If I had stayed in the bathroom any longer, I would have probably been sick on myself like yesterday. And maybe the day before that. Can't remember. Don't mind me. I'm just indulging in all my free time. When one starts to get lashings of time, one doesn't really know what to do with it. One is startled by it, like all that excess energy a pet rat generates when it is touched by its owner, worrying itself into complete fatigue. That's me. Recently, I have picked up this faint ringing in my left ear as if I had just finished watching a rock concert or something. It will get worse and worse, louder and louder, until eventually I will be but a single carnal note powerless to the melody that plays me. Or even worse, I will be an eternally hesitant frequency in between car radio stations. I'm not sure what I meant to do with all this time. I wonder, would it be easier if I were a mayfly? I sometimes wish I were. To suddenly be alive as if it were a miracle, to make love and dance on all available surfaces, to live by the rising and setting of the sun, to float on the cool breeze of an ending day, an ending life, to be so intimately bound to both life and death that you are somehow both at the same time. When I drink, I feel as though I have an affinity for such ephemeral creatures. I attempt to get so drunk that I reach a stage where full life and intensity rush through me as though they were divine inspiration. Although I have completely collapsed by this time, my heart surges and every element of the world shows itself to me. Old songs come to me, and I sing them out loud with such passion I sometimes begin to cry. I am disabled by alcohol, yet my mind is free to collect every experience I have ever had. Sometimes Benjamin passes through. At times I barely acknowledge him, but at others I focus all my energy on him, his scent, his smile, his voice, his eyes, his wit, the way he escapes everything whilst still being present to all those around him. We killed him, don't you know? Yes, we killed him by not trying to understand him, by projecting our misplaced desire for reciprocal validation upon him. He was a man of holy ideas. He was servant to them. Love, art, grace, the unknown. Yet he lived in a world, in a time and place that desecrated such ideas. I'm surprised we're all still going. I'm surprised we haven't noticed. Love lost to a one-night stand. Art lost to the new harbingers that proclaimed what was deemed worthy and what was deemed irrelevant. Genuine art never wanted to be worthy. Grace lost to the continual openness and shallowness of manufactured desire and its denizens. There are no secrets anymore, apart from the human race, which is God's little humiliating secret. I have never ever enjoyed another man's company apart from that of Benjamin Flew's. Everyone else is looking forward to what they will be eating for dinner. Everyone else is chit-chatting. My dead Benjamin, my dead God, manifests himself as wine now. Thank God that in a world full of mess we have the vine to suckle from. It is much more complex than this, though. Let us suggest that there is such a thing as a good musician and a bad one, a good painter and a bad one. Then this truth continues with forms of intoxication. There is a good drunk and a very bad insipid one. This comes in two stages, the harmony and the action. To encounter good alcohol, one must first understand that one is opening their body to a stimulant that will transform them. The first step is to find what drink whispers to you, what drink fills you in a harmonious fashion, what drink finds you as much comfort in the depths of your belly as you do with its complex effects. Then, once the bond has been made, an ethics of being drunk ensues. What type of drunk shall I be? Now, we do not want a drunk who uses alcohol to block out constructed insecurities, to nullify themselves to the point that they desire to hurt someone or display primitive, lustful, and meaningless penetration. Alcohol can't change what you need to change yourself. Only the most rounded man or woman can take on the subtle demands of intoxication and develop it further. The act is, in a sense, the act of death. The reason why an insect lies on its back is because it has reached a point of fatal relaxation where it loses all its tension of muscles. The same decision, to relax and find a place to die, is found in the place to go when drunk. I have chosen the bathroom, and I have chosen the method of reminiscence. It was wine that introduced me to Benjamin in the first place. We met at a wine tasting in Tunz. There were 50 wines to taste, and I had barely got through 5 when I saw Benjamin beside me. I asked him which wine he was enjoying, and his response was thus: "Everyone is telling me where these wines came from, who made them, what process, but I just want to talk about the experience of drinking them. In fact, I would rather sit down with one bottle and try and understand that one rather than hopping about the place looking for the next sensation." Benjamin taught me that drinking a bottle of wine is like babysitting, but you're never quite sure who's the baby and who's the sitter. After that wine-tasting evening, we spent many nights drinking together. In the beginning, we both learnt how to drink alone in solitude, but eventually we would both participate in the ritual of drunkenness in the same room. Sometimes we would not speak the whole night, but it was comforting knowing that he was in the other corner babysitting wine. We had arranged for another babysitting one night, but he never showed, and I never saw him again. I even buy the bottles he used to purchase just to be with him. I hope this helps Sam. From now on, I will be a solitary drinker, but no one ever dies with someone, so I find some solace in that. Best, Terry. I tried to ignore Terry's message at first. I wasn't in the mood for ruminating on the essence of wine, nor lost images of Benji. It was a beautiful message indeed, and I felt, just like with the other emails, that I had got to understand something fundamental about one of Benji's friends, but yet again I had failed to gain any detailed insight into Benji himself. On the other hand, maybe I had gained everything I needed. High school rebel, classical music enthusiast, fan of anything from the avant-garde, big wine drinker, secretive man. But these interests do not add up to a total personality. I do not know how he would react to certain things. For example, my mission to recover his name from the scrap heap of history and forgetting. I do not know how his warm embrace would feel, nor all those qualities that Terry would recollect drunk on his bathroom floor. Brian, too, was in the lavatory when he wrote his email to me. Perhaps the entire world is hiding in a lavatory somewhere. And far from us killing him with our barbaric ways, maybe it was Benjamin's existence that killed everyone close to him. James, the closet homosexual. Brian, the unsettled middle-aged man somewhere in Butlins with 2 children and Jan. Terry, the alcoholic and melancholic. And finally Sam, the guitar tutor with 300 pounds to his name and a beat-up car. I was ready for that drink, so I drove to the closest supermarket and bought 2 of Benji's favorite bottles of Heinrich Hartl and a pack of cigarettes. I booked myself a room online at the nearest hotel, the Eaton Oak, which, after confirmation, came with a reminder notice. Those who fail to return to their rooms before midnight will have to access their key at the open reception, where you will find a locker with your room number on it. Please enter your one-time key code, 1569, to find your room key. Please leave the key with the reception any time before 11 a.m. the following day. What if, and here's a weird one, the recipients that had replied to me were not really Benjamin's friends at all? Emails can be hacked. A close friend or lover may be occupying themselves with messages that are not for them. What if I had entered into a slow game of idle curiosity, a slow game played by bored people? I have a feeling that no one else will reply to me now, factual or fiction. I mean, who is Celine at night? Who really is Celine at night? I imagine that people would be reserving their energy for more pertinent questions like, what are the fundamental constituents of reality? Are synthetic a priori truths possible? How is infinity disclosed in mathematical set theory, etc.? But I just want to know who Celine at night is. I unscrewed the cap of my first Heinrich Hartel and took a few sips. Bizet, Boccherini, and Purcell were all persistently whirring in my melodic memory. So I decided to listen to something different, something even hotter and drier, something as precise as a finger hammering down on a single note. I slid Leo Brouwer into the CD player and let my bottle of wine babysit me.